Well, hello guys. So I just recently finished Throne of Glass series and it was one of the best stories I have ever read. It's in my top 3 fantasy stories and its main character, Selena or Ellen, is in my top 3 fantasy characters. I will provide both a spoiler free and a spoiler review. Let's start with the spoiler free review. In Throne of Glass, there is a tyrant who rules most of the continent. Now we follow our main character who is a slave in his kingdom. She is given a chance to gain freedom if she wins this tournament. Now that's just the start of the series and covers only 3% of the story. This story contains monsters from alternate worlds, different creatures, species and more. Throne of Glass has great stories, mysteries and themes. It has themes like war, oppression, freedom, revenge, temptation, morality and more. Just like any other Western fantasy, the main theme of the story is that our main crew has to defeat a big evil. But in this journey, they have to make sure that they don't get tempted to take that insane power for themselves to rule the world. However, like Mistborn in Throne of Glass, seeking that power will put the world at stake, which makes it better than other fantasy stories. This is one of the main reasons why I like Mistborn and Throne of Glass more than other fantasy stories, as giving up great power makes sense here. We will discuss more about this in the non-spoiler part. Now this series doesn't have a great cast but a decent one. Its main character Ellen is one of the best characters ever. Other characters aren't great but they are good like Dorian, Rowan and Menon. There are some cringe parts in the series and the pacing is very slow. They could have completed the story in just 5 books. But overall, it's still a great story. Go and read if you haven't already. Now let's come to the spoiler section. Now, like most of the Western fantasies, in Throne of Glass, our main characters have to destroy a big evil, which in this story is locking the doors with keys so that creatures remain in their realms and don't destroy each other. However, they also have to fight the temptation that arises when they gain those keys. On this journey, we follow Ellen, who is our main character. She is a bit annoying but also has one of the best arcs ever. She is the best female fantasy character I have ever read or watched. Ellen since her childhood had been fighting for survival. She had always been different and that's why people were scared of her. Then her family was attacked and her parents were killed. She had to flee after witnessing everyone she loved die in front of her eyes. Then she was saved by a man who trained her, but he had bad intentions and wanted to control her. He also planned her lover's death. Afterwards, she was enslaved where she was beaten pretty badly. She also saw her friend getting raped and more. After all of this, she wanted freedom, and when she got a chance, she took the opportunity even if it meant that she had to sacrifice her morals. She became an assassin for the very tyrant that enslaved her in order to gain her personal freedom. She was involved with Prince even though I didn't understand why she left him. In other words, she had fun with the prince and then considered settling with Keol. At first, because of all of this, she was solely thinking about her freedom. She wanted to escape with Keol and live happily. It makes sense as she had been through so much. However, she had great powers and should have fought for the oppressed people, but she just wanted to rest by then. Her friend Nehemia, however, didn't want that. She wanted Ellen to fight for the oppressed and free everyone. This is a bit of weird scene, but Nehemia sacrificed herself to make Ellen realize her mistake and fight for everyone's freedom instead of just her own. And from then on, Ellen changed and decided to fight for everyone's freedom by defeating the tyrant. After defeating the tyrant, she returned to her homeland. After coming back, Ellen learned that she wouldn't just get her throne back, but this time Ellen changed again. She learned diplomacy, a peaceful way rather than just blindly fighting. She stopped being a jerk and developed into a queen. A queen who would rule with an iron hand, but would also gain the trust of her people and make their lives better. By the end, she defeated the real big evil and will work with Rowan and Adrian to make the world a better place. One thing I didn't understand was why she was so quick to kill Dorian in the 4th book, knowing that Dorian was possessed and wasn't in control. That was a very unlikable move, but then she didn't kill him at the end. It didn't make sense. She should have never agreed to kill him anyway. Now coming to the other characters, Rowan was fine. He was just there to be Ellen's partner. He was immortal and had lost his love before, but now after centuries he found his mate in this 20-year-old girl who was Ellen. Dorian was really good at the start. I really liked him. He was a prince who wasn't as bad as his father and actually wanted to help people. However, the writer didn't do much with him. He was sidelined and just helped Ellen in defeating the great evils. His character was about morality. He knew his dad was a tyrant and needed to be removed. And in the end, he was the one who killed the king and saved the world from his tyrant father. I didn't like Keol much. I don't like characters or personalities like his. Though he fell in love with Ellen, he couldn't accept the changes when things evolved and everybody moved on. He still wanted things to go back to the way they were, where he and Ellen would live together. But slowly he began to accept the change and developed. There are other good characters too, like Lysandra, Menon, and Adian, even though they are not Ellen level good. So in the end, Throne of Glass is a great series with a good mystical story, themes, great main character, and a strong side cast. So that's it for today. Tell me your thoughts about this series.